Discuss pole zero concept and frequency response. You see first initial value theorem. With the help of this theorem, we can find the initial value of the time function f of t. This is f of s is the Laplace transform of f of t. The, then according to this theorem, f of 0 plus is equal to limit t tends to 0 plus f of t is equal to limit s tends to infinite s into f of s. That is called your initial value theorem. The only restriction is that f of t must be continuous or the most step discontinuity at t is equal to 0. That's why here taken t 0 plus. Okay. And next one, you see final value theorem. With the help of this theorem, we can find the final value of the time function f of t. Thus, if f of s is the Laplace transform of f of t, then according to this theorem, f of infinite is equal to limit t tends to infinite f of t is equal to limit s tends to 0 s f of s. Here, in previous case, t tends to 0 plus, here t tends to infinite, here s tends to infinite, here s tends to 0, s tends to, that is your s into f of s. The only restriction is that the roots of the denominator polynomial of f of s, that is pole of f of s, a magnitude or 0 real parts. Okay, that is the concept of initial value theorem, and this one is the final value theorem. Okay, next you see the concept of pole and zeroth. Pole and zeroth. Okay, consider the equation c of s divided by r of s, that is your g of s. G of s is the transfer function. The Laplace of output divided by Laplace of input, cs divided by r of s is equal to g of s. Suppose this one is k into s plus z1 s plus z2 small a square plus bs plus c, that is a quadratic equation, second order equation. You see, divided by s plus p1 into s plus p2 into a square plus bs plus c. What is the k? K is a gain factor. K is equal to bm by an is known as m. Suppose the here you use in the numerator, n use in the denominator is known as the gain factor. S is the complex frequency. S is the complex frequency. What is pole? The pole of g of s are those values of s which are g of s tends to infinite. For example, in equation 1, here s plus p1 is present, s is equal to minus p1, s plus p2 is present, s is equal to minus 2, and for quadratic equation a square plus bs plus c, a pair of pole comes. A pair of pole come. How you can calculate pair of pole? S is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac root over divided by 2a. Here a, b, c are given. These are the values. You just put in this equation and you get a pair of poles. Similarly, zeros. The zeros of g of s are those values of s which make g of s tends to 0. For example, in equation 1, we have 2 0 is equal to s1 is equal to minus z1, s2 is equal to minus z2, and a pair of zeros. And a pair of zeros, same procedure, s is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac root over divided by 2a. Here, okay, s is equal to minus z1, s is equal to minus z2, and from this quadratic equation, you can calculate by using this one. If either poles or zeros coincide, then such type of pole or zeros are called multiple poles or multiple zeros. Otherwise, they are known as simple pole or simple zeros. Okay. Example, you see example 1. Determine the pole and zeros of the given function f of s is equal to s into s plus 1 divided by s plus 2 into s plus 4. What are the zeros point you see here? S is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 1 from the numerator. From the numerator, you are able to know the zeros point. Similarly, pole, s is equal to minus 2, s is equal to minus 4. Everything you equate with 0. S plus 2 is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 2, s plus 4 is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 4. In this way, you calculate zeros and poles. Okay. You see example number 2 here. Draw the pole zero plot for the given function f of s is equal to s divided by s plus 2 into s plus 2. Pole zero plot. First you identify zeros and poles. Zeros, s is equal to 0. What is the pole point you see from the denominator? S plus 2 is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 2. S plus 3 is equal to 0, s is equal to minus 3. These are the pole point. Then what is the plot? In S plane you now draw. You take one axis that is called real axis, and this one is called imaginary axis or j omega axis. That is called imaginary axis or j omega axis. That is the left half of this plane, right half of this plane. You take plus 1 minus plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 in your scale, and here -1, -2, -3 in this scale. Where 0 is present, you just mark a bubble mark. At s is equal to 0, 0.10 is present, that's why one bubble mark. At pole point, you give the cross mark. Okay, you see at -2 one pole is present, and at -3 at pole is present. That's why two cross mark is given here. That is the pole 0 plot for the given function. In this way, we draw the pole 0 plot for the given function. You see frequency response, magnitude and phase plots. Okay, frequency response, magnitude and phase plot. Frequency response, this you first see the magnitude function and the phase function are the two plots in the frequency response. Okay, characteristics, and omega is the common variable in between them. What is omega? Omega is the angular frequency. Okay, angular frequency is equal to 2 times of the natural frequency. Omega is equal to 2 pi f. Then what is the definition of frequency response? It is the steady state response of a system to a sinusoidal input of frequency omega. That is, omega varies from 0 to infinite. Okay, the amount of amplification together with the phase shift are referred to as the frequency response data. The amount of amplification together with the phase shift means amplitude and your frequency phase, okay, together with the phase shift are referred to as the frequency response data. Here frequency response, magnitude and phase plots in the network theory or in circuit analysis, we use the frequency response means by taking the Laplace. If capacitor represent 1 by Cs and inductor Ls, and you taking the initial conditions, okay, V0 plus and your I0 minus I0 plus, in this way we calculate or solve the problems. But here you see some idea regarding this frequency response analysis or frequency response plots. These things are not present in your network theory syllabus, but that is too much helpful in your control system engineering, that is related. You see, what is the frequency response specification? You just see, these are the frequency response specification: resonant frequency omega, resonant peak mr, bandwidth omega b, cutoff frequency omega c, cutoff rate, phase margin and gain margin. These are called frequency response specification. Maybe a 2-mark question asked, but these things are discussed clearly in your higher semester in control system engineering. Okay, you see just one example, that is depending upon this frequency response Bode plot. You see, what is Bode plot? Bode plot is a graphical representation of the transfer function. Already you know what is transfer function for determining the stability of the control system. Bode plot consists of two separate plots. One is plot is logarithmic magnitude of a sinusoidal transfer function. The other is a plot of the phase angle. Both plots are plotted against the frequency. That is frequency response. The curves are drawn on semilog graph paper. This figure are drawn in semilog graph paper using the log scale for the frequency and linear scale for magnitude. Log scale for frequency and linear scale for magnitude in decibel or phase angle in degree. Means you use the scale of frequency, log scale for frequency, and linear scale for magnitude and for phase angle. Magnitude taken in decibels and phase angle taken in degree. The magnitude is represented in decibels. Then you see Bode plot, that is your 20, you take log 20 and base 10, magnitude of g of j omega, omega is the angular frequency, and versus log omega, means in a one axis the frequency you take in the logarithmic value. Similarly, another plot, phase shift versus log omega, same log omega in log scale frequency and phase shift in degree. Okay, you see just one example, rough diagram. You see, suppose one semilog paper is present, you take in this way the frequency, angular frequency omega, and in the in semilog paper, that is 10 times multiplied, the values are present 10, 100, 1000, 10,000 in this way. And in same semilog paper, in first half you draw the phase shift and another half you draw the amplitude. Okay, amplitude plot and phase plot. You see same frequency, in frequency, angular frequency in log frequency in one axis, and another axis 50% for phase shift and another 50% for your amplitude plot. You take the magnitude suppose that is varies from in this way minus 20 dB, minus 40 dB, minus 60 dB, and above plus 20 dB, plus 40 dB, plus 60 dB, means magnitude in decibel. Then you get and a value, and for every decade plus 20 dB per decade. Okay, just one example. And similarly phase shift, you take the reference is 0, plus 10 degree, plus 20 degree, plus 90 degree, plus 180 degree in this case. And below this 0 you take minus 10 degree, minus 20 degree, minus 90 degree. Then you can able to draw the phase plot and your magnitude plot. Okay, in frequency response you are able to draw both plots, magnitude plot and phase plot, and you take the frequency in a one scale, that is your logarithmic scale. Okay. Okay, thank you. We'll discuss in the next class.